Good morning.
Morning.
How's everyone feeling today? Did you sweat before you came in already? It feels great in here though, doesn't it? Comparison, definitely. Welcome to Unity of Kona. My name is Nick.
My name is Mark Paul.
And we're joined by Larry Sire and of course the beautiful Rev Deb Knowles, who we're very happy to have here. Very happy to have here. So let's start today by all standing and let's say our affirmation for the month of September. We'll say it first and then you can repeat after us. As I pray, I connect my highest thoughts with my deepest faith. I am grateful. All together with feeling. As I pray, I connect my highest thoughts with my deepest faith. I am grateful. Amen. Now stay standing and let's sing our anchor song, Stand Together.
So the word of today is strength. I am strong and unstoppable. Today I focus on my divine power of strength. Knowing I am strong, I pursue my goals with confidence, determination, and perseverance. Any temporary setbacks only serve to increase my resolve. Just as steel becomes stronger after it is heated to a high temperature, my ability to draw on my inner strength grows as I steadfastly overcome obstacles. If I encounter what looks like a roadblock, I call upon my divine faculty of strength. I turn within and find the mighty power of God. I affirm I am strong and unstoppable. Passion wells up within me as I envision my dreams. With renewed strength and faith, I see my goals through contemplation. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. Isaiah 40:31. Thank you.
Thank you.
And today's word, strength. And the affirmation, I am strong and unstoppable.
Yes.
Now's the time where I invite you to visualize our sanctuary as a beautiful heart. And we see this heart moving in and around and through each one of us. Moving through the thrift store, back into Sunday school, our children, and Kayla back there doing her wonderful job of teaching. And in these moments, we just allow our love, God's love in us, to fill this heart. Fill it with all the caring and the compassion, the love and understanding that we have for ourselves and each other. We allow that love to fill our heart. And if you know of anyone in need of prayer, just allow their names to come to your mind and see them in our heart. If you know of any circumstance in your life or in our world in need of prayer, allow that to come to mind and place it in our heart as we sing the prayer for protection. And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes if that feels right to you. We begin our time of centering in prayer by just breathing. We take in a deep breath, that very breath of life that is God. We hold it for a moment. And as we exhale, we begin to relax. Breathing in again deeply. Holding it briefly. Exhaling this time, we just quiet our mind. We calm our emotions. And once more, breathing in. Holding it. And as we exhale, we rest in the consciousness of our heart. Relaxing your breath. Allow it to be an easy in, easy out. Affirming the truth that God is in me. Breathing in, God is. Exhaling, in me. God is in me. We know in these moments, the greatest words are, I am. Allow that I am presence to be revealed in you now. In the silence, in these holy moments, all is revealed to you. This is our time of listening, of taking a moment to know that God truly is the source of our supply, of our health, our happiness, our peace of mind, our prosperity, and all of our relationships. God is our source of all good. Know this truth. And as we go into a time of quiet prayer, allow that I am presence to expand in you. Allow your consciousness to move forward, upward, allowing every cell in your being to be alive with that I am presence. Today's daily word, I am strong, I am unstoppable. That is our gift to ourselves today. In the silence, affirm this truth and let it be. And now I invite you to take another deep breath. And breathing in, we breathe in that energy, that life force that allows us to be all that we can be. We allow a smile to come across our face. And when we open our eyes, we let that light shine, that spirit, that force, that love that is God in us to shine forth right here and right now from this moment forward. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, that loving presence in us, for reminding us who we are. And so it is. Amen. For those of you who don't know, that's a Faith Rivera song, and our wonderful Faith Rivera. Yes, it's a beautiful song. Many of us know it, many of us sing it. I'm gonna get my notes over here. They're in my purse. And my little cool off self thing. How's everyone today? Hot, yeah, you know, we still have to have the AC worked on in here. It's not quite what it should be. So if you gotta fan yourself, I'll understand. Because it's getting really warm in here, and it usually cools down, but it won't do that. So Hopefully next week it'll be fixed. So how was your week, people? Okay. Do you ever in your spiritual life just go, okay, God, what's the lesson here? Anybody ask that? Or are you of the mindset of, why is this happening to me? Any of you do that? Yeah, I learned in Unity a long time ago to not ask that second question. Because someone said to me, why not you? And so it changed the way I thought about those very things. And so when we're faced with a challenge or an experience that kind of turns your world upside down, do you always remember all these tools that we have spiritually? Sometimes. And sometimes it's just like it becomes a natural part of you. And so for those of you who are wondering about what's going on, I just want to thank everyone. I couldn't have planned in it any better to have something occur in my life, health-wise, than the week of the World Day of Prayer. Because there were millions of people praying for people all week long. And I want to thank all of you who received the email from Napua, which scared me when I read it. And I said, wait, that's me. And just knowing how you all went to that place, the place of prayer, the place of knowing, and there was a little bit of fear. Was there not? Yes. So I'll just give you, remember last week Reverend Eric talked about we're more than our stories? So heck, I created this big crazy story this week, but it wasn't about the story. It was about the beautiful lessons that occurred during the week. So last Sunday, I remember mentioning to Larry in passing, I got this little lump on my head. I got bit by something. Well, it wasn't that. So Monday, it was a holiday. It was a wonderful Labor Day weekend and couldn't get to my regular physician. I thought, I can handle this. Like, any of you say that? Yeah. I can handle this. I can do this. Well, by the time I saw her, I went in and she goes, what's going on? We're chatting about Labor Day, our kids and things. And then she looked at my head, it's the back of my head. And she goes, oh my, I'll be right back. Now, when a doctor does that, that's not ever any good news. So she went over and she talked to the surgeon. And she came back and she goes, let me look at it again. Let me measure it. So if you can picture, this is the back of my head. And this is my palm. It was filled in the back of my head. So I had this huge, hard mass in the back of my head. And it hurt. I'd never been in so much pain. And I've had children and everything. So anyway, she said, I'm going to send you to the hospital right now. And I want you to go to the ER. I'm going to call them. And we're going to have you have a little surgery right now. And I was like, it didn't register, I don't think. Because I said, say what? And she goes, yeah, we need to do something about this right now. And I said, okay. And then I was like, I drove myself today in my husband's truck because God wanted me to be home because my car wouldn't start on Tuesday morning. So I drove and the whole time this is all going on, I have to tell you what I do when I go to any medical facility. Bless it, call the angels, say my affirmations and prayers constantly. And while I was in the waiting room for the doctor and waiting for her to come back, because she went twice to talk to the surgeon, and you prayed it, seriously. Just listen to the You Pray meditation right then and there. And she knows how I am as a person and what I do for a living. And so as the story goes on, I get in the car and I'm like, okay, I better call my husband, better call my daughter, and say, okay guys, I need you. And then I texted Napua. I started to do all the things that I normally do and drive. I wasn't texting and driving, but it was like, okay, so I have all my affirmations and prayers. I have a lot of things in my wallet. And so the affirmation that I truly say often is, the Christ in me is whole and well. The healing presence of the Christ is manifest in me. And from Jeremiah it says, I will restore your health and heal you of your wounds. Now I went, I really have a wound here. Because it was an internal wound, an in thing, it was festering. And I listened to the meditation from You Pray while I was driving. Just kept listening to it while I was driving. Because I didn't want the fear thoughts that were coming in. Because there were a lot of them. I didn't know what was going on. And she said, I just want you to be in the hospital in case there's a lot of bleeding. And I was like, say what? And you know what I decided to do instead first? I was hungry. So I went to Buns in the Sun and I ordered an omelet and a beautiful salad. So the doctor calls me and she goes, are you on your way? And I go, yes, but I'm getting some food first. And she says, you can't eat. Because you're going to have surgery. So you can't eat. And I was like, God, you are so not funny right now. I am so hungry. And so then I took I'm still doing it my way. I came here, dropped off the food to my husband so he had something to eat. Drove to the hospital, and it was a great, wonderful experience with the doctor who was there. And we chatted for a bit, and he looked, and he said, I'm just going to do this and do that and do this and do that. And I said, is it okay if I cry like a little girl? Because that's how much it hurt. And he goes, of course. And all he kept saying was, I'm going to numb this, I'm going to suture this, I'm going to do this, I'll make a decision, blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to get some of that out. And he goes, it won't come out. And I was like, okay, are you through poking and prodding and everything? And it was great. And he was so kind. So I thanked him for his kindness. And they were very, very helpful. Kona Hospital, second time I've been there for issues. And, came out of it. My daughter came and everything was okay. And then they decided to put me on 2 really strong antibiotics at the same time. I had to take some there and then continue. And by the grace of God, all the prayer, the work that I do, it was an internal job because I'm telling you, I didn't get any sleep because you can't lay on your head when it's pounding. Can you? No. And so I called upon, I said, Jesus, I need healing. I really need you to lay your hands on me now because I'm not ready to go anywhere. Because the worry and the concern was the infection was going to get into my brain. And that would be not good. So I was like, okay, we're not going there with those thoughts. We are calling upon everything that you know in this spiritual world, in this real world, to make you whole. And I did. So I was online, I was Silent Unity, you praying, all of you were praying for me. And there were a lot of people who said, well, what's going on? And I said, that's the story part of it. We don't want to be caught in the story. Unity teaches us to see us whole and well no matter what is going on. And that is what we did. We did this collectively together. And it forced me, seriously. I was a prisoner of my house. I had to have everyone do everything for me. Shopping, everything. Dishes, cleaning. And you know when you're starting to feel better? When you have moments of no pain. You forgot you were hurting and you want to clean your house. You know you're getting better. By Wednesday, the pain was subsiding. And I watched all the Super Soul Sundays, all the heartfelt movies on Netflix, all the comedy shows. All the things that would feed my soul. And throughout all of this, because I've been letting everyone know, my time at the thrift store is done. I'm really done with that ministry part of my life. And it took all of this for me to really get it. This is what I am here to do, is to bring forth that spirit of unity in everyone and to teach me and you how to do it. And so I got the most powerful lesson, and it was painful. How often do I tell you, pain is a touchstone to all spiritual progress. That's in the AA Big Book. And it's not messing around. And I paid attention. And I was like, okay, God, if you want me to go, I'm willing. But I don't want to go badly, you know? Kind of want to look good. I still didn't get tattooed makeup on yet, you know? It's funny how the mind works, yeah? Because it wants to keep you doing all these crazy things. But fear did come in. Fear, affirmations, prayer, affirmations, fear. I mean, that's how it goes because it continues to move and move and move. And all the spiritual teachers that I could watch on Super Soul Sunday had a piece of information about what I was going through. Isn't that how the universe works? When we take time to be still. Remember our lessons all last month were about going into the silence. And this month it's all about healing and prayer. And it was like, all right, let's manifest this now. And it began to happen. So Friday when I went back to the doctor and the surgeon, it was a different surgeon this time, and they both came in and they are looking at it, and it didn't hurt as bad when anybody touched it. And it was doing its thing, oozing and goozing and whatever. And they said, wow, with antibiotics, it's healing on its own. Those words made me know what I do for a living is true. What I teach for a living is true. It's healing on its own. That means every affirmation, body, you know what to do. You know how to heal me. But was I afraid to go to the medical profession for what I needed? No. We work together, science and spirituality and science, coming together in truth to heal the body. It was so beautiful. And those words, I mean, I could have just levitated out of that room. I was so happy because he said it's healing on its own. And it still is. And normally, do you do this when you start to feel better? You start going out and doing things. I couldn't. My car is still in the driveway. It was very funny. I said, oh God, you're just so great because you know me so well. But do we know how much God loves us? Yeah, absolutely. That is what we're about, is seeking and knowing that presence and power within us is so great that you cannot fail. Because those thoughts will creep in. You know, only people who are dirty get this kind of stuff. Only people who don't do this get this kind of thing. Because we do that. We want ourselves to feel small. The ego wants you to feel in your place. It wants you to be unworthy. It wants you to think you don't deserve to be whole. All of those things occur in our mind. But when we get to our heart, that's where the love resides. That's where God is. You know, Dr. Oz teaches that that's where our soul resides, is in our heart of hearts. And we want to continue to be alive, to move forward in truth. That's what we're about. And so, out of all this, here's some of the lessons that came to me. And it was very powerful for me, those little aha moments and everything that happened. But it was about surrendering. And so, what did I learn from this? That I had to stop. S-T-O-P. Stop to surrender to omniscience, the all-knowing God presence in me. That's what I had to do, is to stop and affirm the truth of who I am and who you are and who we all are right here and right now. And I had to stop trying to figure out what caused it, because, you know, that took me on an adventure of another story, or many stories, because every physician had a different story about how it could have occurred. And I had to stop, trying to fix it. Do you ever do that? Because we are smart people. Are we not very intelligent? And we do know how to fix things. And we know how to do this, that, and the other towards healing. And it was encouraging to hear that the first time I went to the doctor, she said, "You're doing all the right things, but I'm not getting much better." So I needed help. So I had to stop thinking whatever those thoughts were that said, hey, the truth is within you. The body will heal, and you need a little help from your friends. You truly do. Every time we step out into the world and into our life, we want to bring that with us. I've always learned in this spiritual world, God first, family, and then others. And that is the absolute truth, how I've lived my life for a very, very long time. And my children, of course, were very concerned about me, and my youngest, one of my youngest grandchildren, Walker, many of you know because he was born in our house. And he had an open house this week, and my son didn't even know he wrote this paper, but he wrote a paper about being born in Grandma's house. And how special when he comes to my home, he goes to that room, because that's where he was born, in our house. And it was so beautiful and so touching. I mean, that's what happened to me all week, all these wonderful things. And my son would send me a picture of the day. It was a family picture of me and my children, or some wonderful things. So that's what I kept looking for, was the good in all of this. So what's the lesson here? You're going to become more spiritual. You're going to have more truths revealed to you. And that is what happened. And I honestly can say I had nothing to do with it. I don't know how this happened. I don't know why it happened, but it happened for my spiritual growth. Whoa, Nellie, is all I can say. So every time we have something happen in our lives, Ian Van Sant says that evil or bad things are just a way for God to be having the open door to be part of our world. And it's a beautiful way to look at it, to know that when things happen that aren't all wonderful and joyous and happy and free, that they happen to us to make us more aware of the need for God in our world. And that's the place that I got to, is surrendering to my greatest, highest good. And that's why we sang that song today, because that was the first song that Faith Rivera taught me to sing when she was here doing her private lessons. She goes, how about we just try this song? And then I couldn't stop singing it, because it's about the truth of who we are. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good, even when we think we know what it is. Still surrender. Surrender to the good. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to make things happen. Just let yourself be the magnificent, beautiful creation of God, in God, around and through God that you are. Thank you, everyone. I'm a sweaty girl.